Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. All right. Well, we have new music, so we'll get the laughs out of our system because it's kind of funny, but I like it. I love it. I love that they're putting this new intro music into the show. I'll go ahead and introduce our guest co-host tonight, which is Chef Jesse Ryder, who is calling himself a missionary.
Whoa.
No, wait,
whoa.
what were you calling yourself? Line cook?
More like a kitchen mercenary.
Mercenary.
But
there we go.
I don't know.
There we go.
Some people might say that about me. I don't say that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I do.
The hardest working line cook in show business. You're now working at Charlie G's and the Sizzling Monkey.
Yeah, and I mean, anywhere else is cooking.
Anywhere else, and a few other gigs out there happening. Welcome, welcome back to the show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's kind of weird,
I know I'm learning the boards tonight, guys. So I just want to let you know if there's any mishaps. I'm learning, and I apologize. And and Brandon Como is in the studio babysitting me, and I'm pretty nervous right now. I'm in front of the boards. I'm in a different seat. Jesse is in the seat that I normally sit in,
which I'm learning is
jealous.
Actually twice as comfortable as the crate that they normally make me sit in.
Who knew? I like this seat because it makes me stand at attention, and it makes me even more nervous. So I feel like there's so much going on in front of me. I have to have this seat to keep my back aligned.
I don't know. You kind of got this like teacher's glare thing going on,
Do
looking
I really?
at me. Oh yeah, you got this real serious thing, like staring me down. I feel
fear.
like I'm
it's fear.
I'm about to get punish work or something.
It's fear. We were off air last week because of UL baseball. I
was about to say we have no competition there.
Yeah, we'll say that, but we're back.
Go Cajuns
this week. Last episode, I think I was driving back from Birmingham, Alabama. That was a fun show. It's nice to be back in a studio and not doing the show live from the what did I keep saying? The Piggly Wiggly parking lot in Hammond, Louisiana.
Yeah,
that's where we did the show 2 weeks ago.
You can't really complain about being a traveling food junkie, though, right?
No, not at all. And I'm learning a lot of things, and the opportunities. I was thinking about that today. From where I was 5 years ago when the blog started to where I am now, it's been an amazing journey, and it's Dr. Seuss's "Oh the Places You'll Go,"
right?
"Oh the Places You'll See" kind of popped into my head this morning.
It was like his 112th birthday or something like this week or last week,
no,
something like that.
It was this week. Speaking of Charlie G's, I've had numerous people as of late tell me that I need to try the steaks there, that it's some of the best steaks in town. And being as you are typically the man who does the steaks, you want to weigh in on that?
Well, first off, there's quite a bit of talented cooks at Charlie G's. Jordan and Kobe, they burn up a mean steak too. But it starts with good product, and we get fresh cut, never frozen, select steaks. It's really, really nice. And we have we were having a 16-ounce bone-in ribeye. That was some of the prettiest meat I've ever seen come into the back door of a restaurant. So we really stepped our steak game up. And I mean, you can't beat the wood burning grill. The thing has no knobs. Every day you walk in, you build a campfire, and then you cook people's hand-picked steaks for them. Of course, they're delicious.
I think I'm going to have to treat myself with my very nice tax return and go get a steak there.
What you need to do is buy...
I was thinking if I've had a steak there, and I think maybe I did for Easter brunch one year, but someone was telling me there was a specific cut and style of steak that I needed to order from Charlie G's.
It probably was that 16-ounce ribeye, the bone-in. I mean, they were beautiful, and they were wet aged, and it was really nice. What you should do with your tax is income taxes. Buy me, Kobe, and Jordan each a 6-pack of beer and a couple of steaks, and let us burn them in your backyard for you. That would be the way to do it.
That's what I should do instead of going to Charlie G's.
Well, there's no roof on your back door. It's been so nice outside lately. Why go inside to eat?
It's gorgeous outside. We were talking about that before the show, that we kind of wish that we could do the show outdoors today.
No, but they've been Chef Brian and Chef Holly. They've been going through this incredibly difficult process of just badgering all of our meat purveyors into just bringing us the best of what they got to offer. I mean, watched them turn delivery men down at the door and say, look, this is just not what we're going to serve. I'm sorry, we need better. And so it's their, quality control that's really helping bring that great steak back to Charlie's.
And then, so not only at Charlie G's now, also at the Sizzling Monkey that just opened, we had Chef Blake on the show, and he got married this weekend, so we want to congratulate him. I know you two are good friends.
We are. There's no secret that if, you know where to get good steak from, you can get it into your restaurant. He has some experience at Charlie's. He went on to his own restaurant, and he took some of that same knowledge of bringing good product to your menu will make your menu better. And, I mean, he's doing that. And their little Hot Rock game that they have going on downtown, it's new.
It's very different. And so let me just explain it, and you can kind of weigh in on it. You get this extremely hot rock to your table.
Like volcanic hot.
It's seasoned, and then you put your meat on it, and you can cook it to your liking.
Well,
you can do medium plus or medium minus.
No, you cannot do that because that does not exist. We had a whole conversation about that. But yeah, essentially you're right. What they do is they take these these rocks made out of some kind of specific lava sediment or whatever, and they heat in these like special ovens to like 1,000 degrees, and they send them out to your table with the best cuts of meat. Like we take the prime, the select cuts out of the center, and that's what we're breaking down to send out to your table. We want the very best out there to you. And you cook it. They season it with sea salt, and you just snap, crackle, pop it on that rock. Toss it in one of Chef Biggie's 6 signature sauces, or 8 signature, or 15. He's got about
a lot of sauces.
He's got about 1,000. It's not fun to fill those sauce bottles up on Sunday morning. I'll let you know that much. But they're all good. He's got a really good thing going, and the oyster bar over there is
yes, that was the other thing. He has really cool oysters, like buffalo oyster,
that buffalo oyster.
Sriracha,
he's onto something there.
Yeah.
Don't pass up an opportunity to try that bad boy out.
No, and they also have really great cocktails too that we got to preview and sample. I'm interested to see how it's going to go out, and I know that you're doing brunch there. So
well, yeah, it's
the Bloody Mary for brunch looked really good.
It's got bacon in it. Of course, it's good.
Yeah, anything with bacon is good.
I mean,
I work with some people who don't like bacon, and I don't trust them.
I mean, I get that. I understand that completely.
Yeah, I don't
that's
get it.
That's like people who don't eat Mike and Ike's. I just can't really get with that.
Maybe that should be like a first question on a dating questionnaire as well. Do you like bacon? And then my next one would be, do you like cheese? And if those are both no, then I'll just be like, I'm getting up from this date now.
I'm feeling like we're not going to connect.
You don't like cheese?
No. I'm saying in that situation.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know. It's just some ideas that I've been throwing around about dating questionnaires that should exist, especially for someone who really likes food.
Bacon.
Just throwing it out there.
Football, duck hunting.
All right. We are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Chef Jesse Ryder. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm going to laugh every time we come back from commercial break until I get the new bumper music out of my system. Well, I like the first one better.
I mean, it's just unique. We'll call it unique.
We got to hear them a while back, and I do really like them. They make me laugh. And come on, this show is about food. It's not super serious. So it's kind of fun to have kind of fun stuff.
Right. It definitely gives it a softer edge.
Right. I'm trying to keep talking until the music stops playing. I'm coming back from commercial break a little too soon, it seems, and not letting it play a little too much. Maybe not. Who knows?
Well.
Learning lessons as I'm working the board.
And it's kind of it's on the job training.
Yeah, there you go. So today I had the pleasure of judging. I was one of the judges that St. Landry Parish Tourism asked me to judge the St. Landry Parish Cattlemen's Association Where's the Beef cooking competition today, and it was pretty much any which way possible you could cook beef.
Come over here and cook your cow.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. So they had different categories, okay? So we got to pick which category we wanted to judge, and it was 3 to a category. Well, I saw miscellaneous right away, and
Well,
I was
yeah.
like, I am so on that. And then no one wanted to judge it with me. I have no idea why.
Well, because maybe some of them were from Opelousas and they could understand the parameters of miscellaneous on the bayou.
Yeah, and it was basically everything from nose to tail.
Well,
that's exactly why I picked it. I love organ meats and the unsavory cuts of meat are the most flavorful. And which brings me to a podcast that I was listening to today, in fact, that was talking about how the prime cuts of beef are more expensive, but they're not necessarily the most flavorful.
Right.
And
you say that, I remember.
Confusing, and but in a way, it's kind of good that it's cheap because then you can go out and get the cheap stuff and make a good meal with it.
And, I complain about Food Network all the time. They're hurting us on things like turkey necks and oxtail and tuna collar and all this junk that people are throwing away that you used to be able to go to your butcher and pick up because it was in a bucket that they hadn't slopped out yet. And you're like, hey, can I get some of this? They're like, oh, they want to feed your dogs? You're like, no. Now all of a sudden they want $11.95 a pound for it. They're breaking us with that stuff. And it is the best stuff though.
But it was cool. So they had liver, which I was very excited about. Wasn't that flavorful, but I happen to be a person who likes the taste of liver, so I liked it. There was a cowboy stew that was very good.
Oh yeah.
2 oxtail dishes. 1 oxtail dish was very good. Cooked it down tender enough. A dark gravy, real good. Surprising one was I guess it was like a skirt steak that was wrapped around a pickle.
Oh, okay.
And they had gotten the recipe it's a German recipe.
Right.
Where they got it from. That meat was so tender and fall apart. And it was in a gravy too, and you got that pickle flavor. It worked. That's what won in our category.
You didn't find yourself a mean bowl of bouillie out there, huh?
What is this?
That's like when they take like the kidneys and the liver.
They didn't get that crazy. They did the cowboy stew.
Well, I mean, it's close. It's not much farther from that. But they use like the stomach and all that. And to me, the meat in it isn't where it's at because it all ends up being that kind of gristly. But it's the best gravy you ever had.
Yeah.
All that iron and blood leaking out, all that stuff. I mean, that's that gelatinous fatty material.
We had a couple of ginormous ribs. Beef ribs. They were good. One of them was good. They did a short rib. Short rib could have been cooked longer. And Eunice Superette, which has the coolest logo ever.
Yeah,
and I wanted a t-shirt. I wanted a t-shirt. They didn't have t-shirts. They did a skirt steak taco that was also really good.
I don't have a whole terrible lot of nice things to say about Eunice food, but I know a couple artigos out there that know how they cook, so.
Yeah, so it was good. I enjoyed it. There was a gumbo that I did not like. I don't know. So it's cook-off season. And next weekend I'm judging a gumbo cook-off. Some gumbo cook-offs are really good. Some of them are bad. Brandon Como can tell you because he judged one with me before that we had some good and some bad. Some of the cook-offs are good and some bad. I find that gumbo tends to be not on the best.
It's
side.
Tricky with
However,
gumbo.
Chili was also kind of on that side as well. And we're judging dessert as well next weekend, so we're doing dessert before gumbo. So I may die.
What is dessert at a gumbo competition?
They're
I wonder.
Doing like a baking one this year. I'm happy for it. They asked me if I wanted to do it, and I said I want to say yes. But experience has taught me that in theory, it sounds like it's a good idea, but in reality, it is not fun to judge competitions. The rice and gravy panel for the cook-off today had like 6 people in it because they had so many rice and gravy dishes.
Right.
So I like that they broke it down and had each person. I was right next to tongue. That was another one that nobody wanted to judge, and I would have went for that, but I saw that miscellaneous, and I was like, no.
When I was young, growing up, there was a man who was a friend of my dad's named Mr. Todd, and his wife used to cook the best tongue and gravy you ever had. I mean, just smothered down for hours.
I feel like
it was beautiful.
Only had it in a taco, and
I feel like you're missing out.
I need to have it in a gravy.
You need to have it stuffed inside a ponce and smoked and in a gravy.
Do you plan on making this for me?
I mean, I'm not saying that I'm
I see
not.
These pictures on Facebook
I
that you post all the time.
I have access to several smoking devices.
Gotten an invite.
We have electric smokers. We have a nice, cool homemade. I do have a cute puppy as well.
This needs to happen. I need to be part of the Jesse Ryder food
Well,
clan?
catch me in between my classes or my couple of jobs and the catering events that I do, and then these excursions that we've been taking out to the bayou to catch sacks full of
Mercenary,
bullfrogs.
line cook.
You
What
know.
do you do? What are you doing with the bullfrogs? You're cooking them.
Well, we did so far. We did sauce piquant, and we
Okay.
fried them, and then I baked some, and then I had
only
it.
had them fried.
My very favorite way is like think about like a nice clam linguine. Like
Okay.
like a nice, really, really light wine and butter with scallions, green onions, salt, peppers, shallots, and then replace your clams with big old bullfrog legs. You just
Ooh.
slowly saute them in butter and wine, and then once they're starting to tender up, you throw in your pasta, and you just kind of build your butter sauce around it. Oh my
My
god!
face is grimacing
Tons
because
of
the
garlic.
idea of this is not good to me, but at the same time, I want to try it.
You don't know what you're missing, Ma.
Again, hello, I need invites to these things.
I don't invite. Well, listen, I just go get. You know what I'm saying? I don't worry. I'm not much.
make them
I'm
too,
not a
though?
party planner. You know what I'm saying? I just.
Well,
Man,
whoever your party planner is, they need to put me on the Facebook.
I've been
invite list.
saying I needed a secretary for years.
Yeah, we need to situate this. Speaking of being in Opelousas today, you were telling me about a place in Ville Platte that has a boudin that when you told me, I was like, no, but you were like, yes.
Okay, like Paul's is a little store in Ville Platte that's like my favorite boudin in Ville Platte. Now, when I get towards the Mamu area, it probably turns into like T-Boys or something like that. But that's like saying, it's my favorite macadamia nut. They're all pretty good out there, but this one's just a little better. Well, I was leaving my grandmother's funeral a couple weeks ago, and I told my pops, I was like, Dad, I need a Coke and a link of boudin. And he said, well, let's go stop by Paul's. And when we pulled into the parking lot, he said, you need to try, they have a chunky boudin. And it didn't really strike me as, I was like, I don't really think I'm going to be about this. And like, he gave me this look right back that I was like, no, trust me. Man hasn't steered me wrong on food very many times. So, I've eaten squirrel brains right off of his fork. This is something he's been good to me about my whole life. And I went in there and I got a link with, a little apprehension, and it was delicious. I'm not sure how it fits into my like boudin category because of like the texture, but as far as liking, seasoned meat and rice inside casing, let me tell you, it was so good and hit the spot. And so, I was a fan instantly.
I love that we're talking about all this organ meat love, and Brandon is grimacing.
Oh,
in the
he's
corner.
squirming
Brandon
next
knows
to
that
me.
He misses being here every Sunday night with us talking about all the food happenings. He misses it. He just grabbed the mic like he wanted to get on it. He's
Squirrel brains?
Yeah.
Seriously, squirrel
Look,
brains?
my great-grandfather, my dad tells this story all the time. My great-grandfather, my great-grandmother would cook a stew with the squirrel brains, and that was his favorite part of the squirrel to eat was the brain. And he remembers vividly him sitting at the kitchen table, cracking the skull open and scooping the brains out.
It's not just the brain. They got these two little pieces of cheek meat on each side. My goodness.
See, my grandmother's a fan of the back.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, they got these
back
little
part.
tenderloins on them.
She was like, that's like... And it's literally the size of a chicken wing.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because a frog's got a very similar makeup when you rip the skin off of it. So they got that little tenderloin back there, and they got all those little nodes and little pieces of sweet meat on them.
Yeah, it's good eating, Brandon.
I thought I was brave
first
today for
off-
trying spinach and artichoke dip for the first
Are you
time.
kidding me?
Yes, first time trying it.
Woo!
Brandon.
I got to give my fiance credit. She's been like asking me. She's like, you have to taste this. I've never been a spinach man, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I'm
Oh
seeing
my
strings of
God,
spinach going across,
Brandon.
and I'm thinking this is just not gonna be good. And it was actually pretty doggone amazing.
my
Yeah, well,
God.
spinach and art, that's cheating. That's how you hide spinach and tell somebody that they're eating it.
The big old lump of cheese over it helped
Right,
for
right,
sure.
right.
Oh my God. Okay, guys, we got to take a break. So we're going to take another break. And when we come back, more talking about Brandon not ever eating spinach and artichoke dip before.
and organ meat.
Come back to us. This is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on Newstalk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on Newstalk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Chef Jesse Ryder has been our guest co-host tonight. Brandon Como is babysitting me since I'm learning the boards tonight. And before we went to break, we were shocked and awed and shocked again.
Still shocked.
To learn that Brandon tried spinach and artichoke dip for the first time today. I would just like to say that if you want to taste good spinach and artichoke dip, you need to get over to La Pizzeria. Okay. And they serve it with tortilla chips. I eat mine with the whole wheat pita bread. And it's got a hefty amount of bacon in it, bacon grease.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, this goes back to our conversation earlier.
Right. So whenever I'm doing the low carb thing, I just don't eat the spinach, and I do eat it with a fork. I'm kind of embarrassed.
You're that person?
I'm that person.
Okay, well, my fiance, who's the one that got me to eat the spinach and artichoke dip, she is a huge fan of bacon as well. So I'm going to let her know.
You need to go on Wednesday nights when it's dollar wine.
Okay.
And then get the spinach and artichoke dip.
I got a feeling she's going to enjoy that. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And they have their desserts from Poop Hearts. So
oh, yes. Poop Hearts is ridiculously good.
Round it out. That's what I'm here for. Brandon used to message me, and I felt like I was Food Writer on Food Writer Top Chef, where he'd be like, where can I find a restaurant that has healthy food, and this is the area of town I'm in?
Like instead of Google, he would like Tiffany.
I was like, it was Food Google. Tiffiany Decou is Food Google, which a lot of people actually think I'm Food Google. So he's not the only one. I'm just calling him out because he's in front of me. But
I mean, I don't call myself that, but other people do, you know.
Yeah. Maybe I should put that on my business card, like Tiffiany Decou, writer, radio show host, Food Google.
Hey, you know some talented people. I'm sure somebody could work out a little your face worked into like a Google type insignia.
Maybe so. Maybe let's not go that far. let's change the topic.
Anyway,
I want to give a shout
moving
out
right along
to Saint Street Inn.
What?
I dined there last night, and Chef if I can talk, Ashley Roussel has been doing wonderful things with the menu there, and she sent out some oysters. They were Murder Point oysters.
Yeah.
And I've kind of been obsessed with them since I've discovered them on Instagram. I love that we're in this digital age that oyster farmers are on Instagram.
Right?
So they started following me on Instagram. I started following them back, and I just love the name Murder Point. I mean, come on.
that it almost sells itself.
Yeah, Murder Point oysters. As far as I know, she's the only one in the city that has them. They're based out of Alabama, and I actually messaged them last night and told them if they ever want to do a radio show via phone in Lafayette, Louisiana, totally down. And they told me that if I'm ever in Alabama,
to stop on by,
which would be so cool to check out how oysters are harvested.
Except you got to go to Alabama.
Well, I just got back from Alabama. Alabama's a wonderful state. So they have a lot of barbecue there.
Sure.
Yeah, so
it's great out there.
It was great. And I dined. Oh,
okay. There actually is a great barbecue place in Alabama, and I'm trying to remember. It's going towards Mobile, like the Brick House or something like that.
Okay.
They were featured on what's his name, the guy that would do all the eating challenges, Adam, whatever.
Man versus Food or whatever.
Yeah. It was I think it was called the Brick Pit. The Brick Pit. That's what it was called. Yeah.
Did they have the white barbecue, the white Alabama barbecue sauce?
Not that
Do
I
you
know of.
Okay, it's a mayo-based sauce for anyone who's like.
No, I don't remember
that.
that.
Okay, yeah, that's like Alabama. That's what Alabama barbecue is known for. But yeah, it was cool. I dined with a vegetarian last night, and
you say that like it's super like cliche.
Well, I feel bad with her. I feel bad for her because there's not a lot of things on the menu that she can eat, and it's
gotta be
kind
terrible.
Of frustrating. So I was excited
salad.
that we were going to be there.
Well, you're eating scallops,
and she can eat other things. And they have a tempura cauliflower.
Oh, okay.
And they do think buffalo wings, but fried cauliflower.
Right.
Really good. Their mac and cheese is pretty legit. I know that's kind of...
Cauliflower is a vegetarian's best friend. You can do some amazing stuff.
And it's also a low-carb dieter's best friend.
Paul has made me some really awesome... Chef Paul Credo made really, really awesome cauliflower pizza dough. Oh, yeah. You can do it buffalo style like that. I've heard of people frying it before. You can put it through the little thing that you make gnocchi with, and you make cauliflower rice.
Yeah.
Which is super, super delicious and is actually really, really easy to execute.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I love cauliflower. Like when I started doing the low carb diet thing is when I fell in love with cauliflower and how versatile it was.
Oh, I was easy at any fruits and vegetables since a child, except for like mustard greens I ate, and then those are slowly growing on me.
All you have to do is saturate them in bacon.
Bacon, a lot of sugar and vinegar.
See, my grandmother, so when she makes greens, she actually makes a mixture of mustard, turnip, and turnip greens.
Right.
And she puts sugar in it, and a lot of people do that, and I wish I didn't know that because it makes it not as healthy in my head. I mean, the bacon makes it totally healthy.
All you got to do, you cut the sugar out and you use some honey, and you do just fine.
Yeah,
honey's super good for you.
I mean, if you're trying to stay away from sugar, though, it's kind of not good.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm not trying to know people like that.
So that's why I wish I didn't know.
Can we put that on the dating profile? No bacon, check that off. No sugar, check that off.
But if you haven't gone to St. Street in a while, you need to get there while the oysters are still there because we're slowly getting out of oyster season.
She's lying about that. You can just go anytime because Ashley, Russell, and them are killing it there. So even if it's not oyster season, even if it's not oyster season, you should go and check it out because her seasonal menus are great. She's
about to swap out.
Amazing.
Yeah, her new menu is about to come out. So definitely go over there and check it out. And the Walkalicious mystery has been solved. I forgot who was guest co-hosting with me that night, but we were trying to figure out. Ryan Trahan was on the show.
Okay.
And we were trying to figure out what Walkalicious was going to be. It's rice and noodle bowls. And it's kind of like a build your own rice and noodle bowl. And it's got Chinese, Japanese, and Korean influences. And it's pretty darn good.
Okay.
You can pick from a menu, which I did the Korean pork belly, speaking of bacon. And this is a bacon themed show, apparently. Bacon and organ meats. So I got that. And their egg rolls looked homemade.
Okay.
As well, which is very unique for an Asian restaurant. You're thinking that it's not homemade. Did you see the picture of the egg roll?
No, I'm just saying that there are some really, really, really nice looking prepackaged spring rolls out there.
It wasn't a spring roll. It was an egg roll.
Excuse me, egg rolls out there. But they might be hand rolled. I mean, I know we hand roll them at Charlie's, so.
Those are spring rolls at Charlie's, aren't they?
Okay, listen, you are splitting hairs.
It's a different
here.
wrapper. It's a different wrapper.
It's just it's you're splitting hairs. Okay. There's the same process. It's very similar.
But it's a different wrapper.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's typically served with a different dipping sauce. You know what? You need to
listen, we're not talking Kanye and 50 Cent over here. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally the spring roll wrappers, and then the next, if you look in the grocery store, right next to it is gonna be the wonton wrapper. I mean, it's all the same right there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go eat there next week and tell me if it's because Zach used to say the same thing too. Like we would talk about what was pre-made and what was not.
They've got some really.
And I mean, I'm not a chef, so I would not know as well as you guys did. But I do eat a lot of egg rolls, and it looked a lot different than other egg rolls.
Was it good?
Yes.
Then that's all that matters.
Wow, this is true too.
You know.
Yeah. But I'm excited because it's something.
Somebody rolled it somewhere.
It's something different in Lafayette.
Right.
It's a different cuisine. So.
And you said that it was very vibrant and very good.
Yeah, it was a huge amount too. I think I paid $12. I got 2 meals off of it, and it was like maybe $8. And then for $3 more, you could add a drink and an egg roll. And they also do like a crawfish hot and sour soup. To go,
How was that?
I didn't get to try that. Yeah, I did the egg roll.
That sounded interesting.
Next time I go there, I'm gonna try that one out and see what it's like. But it's open. It's next to Five Guys on Ambassador Caffrey, in case you didn't know. And we also have another restaurant opening, Zen Noodles and Grill. It's gonna be a Vietnamese cuisine.
There's like 11 restaurants opening on that.
Next to you guys.
Yeah, they're crowding Ambassador with food right now. But, I mean, it's a good thing. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Lafayette, competition is always going to make better food. People are going to go out of business because other people are stepping their game up. It's good. It's friendly competition, but it's competition nonetheless.
I just want to promo some upcoming shows really quickly. So on next week's show, we're going to have Colin Cormier with Pops Po' Boys to talk about the Po' Boy Festival that's coming up. Why we haven't had one before, I don't know. We'll talk to him about that when he comes on. Someone from the Junior League is also going to come on. They're doing this really cool thing where they're taking you on tours of people's kitchens around Acadiana, and I think it's like $25, and with that you get a cookbook.
Are they doing that at Halloween? Because that sounds terrifying.
No. Why does it sound terrifying?
I mean, there's just hot grease
it's not a restaurant. This is
okay. I thought you were
kitchens. No.
I thought you were bringing them in the back door at places. That sounds terrifying. There's hot pans and cuss words.
No one would want to see that.
That sounds terrifying.
No one would want to see that. So that's coming up. We're also going to have Stephen Verrett on an upcoming show. He is the owner of the Olympic Beer Garden. Kind of controversy going on with him right now. The city's making him build a kind of shed situation to no longer allow it to
They're
be
cramping
outdoors.
his style.
Right. So he's going to come on to talk about that, his GoFundMe that he's started to kind of raise funds for that. And then we're going to have Mr. Billy, who is a private cater waiter, on to kind of talk about the private cater waiter life. He has waited at all of the runaway dishes.
Oh, okay.
So I'm interested to see what stories he has to tell. And then we're going into April, and we have so many cool guests coming up in April. One of them being a Haitian chef that's coming into town to do a pop-up dinner with Chef Jeremy Connor.
Fancy.
And she's coming on, and we're going to talk about Haitian food, which I'm very excited about.
Well, I'm not super familiar with that, so I'll have to listen in that
everyone is going to have to keep tuning in to listen to all these cool guests that we're having on upcoming shows. So Wu-Tang has a beer.
Wu-Tang does have a beer.
Have you tried the beer, Jesse?
I haven't. Listen,
because I know you're a big Wu-Tang fan.
I mean, how do you know that? Who have you been talking to?
Because you just quote it all the time on Facebook.
Who have you been talking to? No, this is something I just recently learned about, so I haven't had an opportunity to try it yet. But I mean, everything they put their hands in is awesome. So
when we come back from break, we're going to talk more about Wu-Tang Clan and how it relates to kitchen life. You're right. So you're darn right we are. So we're going to take a break. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Chef Jesse Ryder has been in the guest co-host seat tonight. Brandon Como is babysitting. I actually really like that bumper. That was good. I think that one was my favorite out of the ones that we heard tonight. From Boudin to Burgers, babe. It's pretty accurate. I mean, I'm very much a fan of Boudin, and I'm very much a fan of a burger. Hey. So whatever works. That's it. Sea to shining sea. There you go. Okay, so we were talking about Wu-Tang and why it's so popular in kitchens. I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory, it's the Wu. No, basically, as you know, music is a huge kitchen boy culture. Very, very much so. And it's like, you got your country music boys, and you got the guys who want to come in and listen to their... I've never heard country music in you don't kitchen. Work enough morning shifts. Oh, so you're telling me the morning shift crew is more country. Country boys are more inclined to be early birds than... Okay. Whatnot. I learned something new tonight. I don't want to grossly overgeneralize anything, so y'all don't call in and start making a fuss. But in my experience, it seems like there's your techno house beat music, and then your country music, and then the 50 million types of rap that they want to listen to, and it seems like anytime you ever want to find one tone that everybody can bob their heads to, you just throw on the RZA, the Jizza, and you let that Wu-Tang just grind out, and everybody it's angry enough, but at the same time it's fun enough, and it really helps create that nice medium for the controlled chaos that is a hotline on a kitchen. I know that Biggie Smalls is very popular in certain kitchens as well. Biggie and Tupac is all of these really and I have to say I've started listening to more rap since hanging out with kitchen boys. That's not surprising. I didn't listen to any rap at all until I started working in kitchens, and now I've got Wu-Tang Clan tattoos, so it is what it is. But it just seems like there's something about that passionate aggression and all that energy that you have to put for it. It's very
is very parallel to some of that really, really grimy Long Island rap. And, it transfers well. Like I said, it creates a wonderful river for all that, high tension, high action to pass through.
If you had to pick one song that was your theme song, what would it be? I just put you on the spot.
The Grudge by Tool.
Really?
We used to talk about when we would walk out, if we were wrestlers, what would play in the background where we were walking down and all the fireworks and stuff were going down in the hallway, and it's just got this really, really like low rumble, and then it just tones into this really, really like, powerful riff, and then kind of back to this really somber, really ominous tone, so like something like that. Either that or Bring the Ruckus by The Woo. If I had to choose one, it would have to be how I felt that morning when I walked out.
I think I'm going to start asking that in my quickfire questions.
You should quit asking me quickfire questions is what you should do.
I was testing it on you, and I kind of like it. So I think it's going to be a rotation question now.
I could see the puzzle in my own face.
Yeah. Hey, I go over them with them kind of before the show. I just put you on the spot to see how it would work out, and it did.
Yeah, well, but the music life in the kitchen it's super, super important.
It parallels each other so well, and I've talked about this a lot, how a lot of the 90s musicians in town that were in rock and indie bands are now in food. You've
never seen anything until you've walked on the back line at a corporate restaurant and you've seen like a Paul Credo before he was Chef Paul Credo, just listening so sweetly and melodically to some terrifying death metal band that I can't even say their name on the radio.
He's a fan
and
of death metal.
It sounds like someone's like whispering church psalms in his ear. He said so much at peace, but it's this screaming, blood curdling, stuff in the background. So is that sweet serenity you find back there.
It's good stuff.
It's unique.
Yeah. I am a fan of cooking, giving myself challenges at home because I don't get to cook a lot at home, of cooking with what I have in the house. And I was talking to you about this before the show. So the most comforting thing to me as a child was my mom would make me tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Right. And I had a half a loaf of rosemary, sea salt, like super crusty bread that was fantastic. That's gone stale. And I kind of was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I want to cut this up and pour tomato soup over it. And then I had some leftover drunken goat cheese, and I'm going to put that on top and put it under the broiler. So it's almost going to be like a French onion soup, but it's going to be tomato soup. And
I told you that you should grow zucchinis because you put a bunch of sliced zucchini underneath that, and you got yourself a soup, babe.
And I was like, well, don't got zucchini in the house, so we're going to skip that. But that's my take on tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches.
I think it's awesome. I cheat when it comes to things like that because the stuff in my refrigerator is fresh frog legs and smoked duck tasso that we made and some pigs we shot in the basin a couple weeks ago. And so I got a hand up on most people's like, well, we ain't got nothing in the house.
Right. You got.
I mean, if we got an onion and a cup of rice, we got something. So
there's always something. To make
and then
a gravy of sorts.
And if not, we'll just go a couple miles down the road. So
nice.
We just go out and find it.
I'm waiting for an invite. I'm just saying, like, I think I've mentioned it 8 times now on the show.
I feel like you don't do enough harassing, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I cook for people all the time. If you're not there, that's got to be your fault, not mine.
Oh, okay. So next time you post these pictures, I'm just going to be like, give me your address now.
Well, I'm kind of like a traveler of the world. I don't really live anywhere, so the address is all you need to do is just find a picture and when you notice that the meat doesn't look cooked yet, ask where we are then.
Okay.
You got to quit asking when the finished product hits Facebook.
Do you want to promo your cooking classes that you do at Rouse's? Are you doing those once a week?
I do those. It's about every 2 weeks or so. I've been doing a kids class every month. That's what I want to promote.
Yeah.
Because that's the real stuff, is getting the kids cooking and getting them interested in it young. I noticed that the last 2 or 3 of them I did had all young ladies in it, and that's just a crazy influx to me, because that's something I would have been wanting to, I'd have been bugging mom to do when I was young.
Right.
I'm glad they're out there though, because we've been dyeing eggs and making handmade pizzas, and I think we're gonna do tacos in maybe in a week or so, and I feel like the more kids that we can get out there and do it. Let me tell you, we had some fun putting some glitter on some eggs and letting somebody else clean up afterwards, for sure.
Oh, were you telling them to just?
I said, y'all have fun,
everywhere.
get it all over you, and then go home with your mom. It was great. There was paint everywhere. We saw these they had these cool sponge painting eggs. So what you do is, like, they give you this quick drying but water solid washable ink. You sponge and you dab the eggs or whatever, and then after you dry for a second, you drop them in, and they kind of come out looking like dinosaur eggs, and that's cool. I would have been about that as a child. So, but we get to do some really cool things, and the kids get, they get to make a mess, and they get to learn a little bit, and then the moms don't have to watch them for about 45 minutes. I feel like everybody wins.
Where can people go to get information about when the classes are happening, and do they have to sign up?
They're all over on the Rouse's website. There's links to the class schedules and what we're cooking and all this stuff. Shelby Spear. Ooh, I'm going to see if I can look up her email address right now. She's the lady that's in charge of it. The only thing you ever have to sign up for is the kids' classes. All the rest of them, I mean, mine are usually pretty full, not bragging or nothing.
I would just like to mention that I went to one of your classes, and you had a front row of all ladies.
Oh, I'm a rock star to those old ladies.
And
they think I'm
excited to see you.
They think I'm some kind of fancy chef or something. So, y'all don't, if y'all see them in public, don't rat me out.
Jesse, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show again.
It's always fun. Thank you so much.
All right. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This has been Tiffiany Decou on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this has been the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening, and as always, happy eating, Acadiana.